Hey guys, it's Mrs. Butler again. I'm coming to you today to talk to you guys about introductory paragraphs. Now that you are experts on thesis statements, we need to learn how to incorporate them into the overall essay. So introductory paragraphs have three parts: the hook to grab your reader's attention, background information to help your reader understand what your topic is about, and your thesis statement. In that order. Thesis statements generally come at the end of the paragraph. As you get more sophisticated in your writing, you can vary this up a little bit, but to be honest with you, for now and probably throughout high school, putting the thesis statement at the end of your paragraph is the best way to do it. First, we're going to start with the hook. If you start your essay or paragraph with something that grabs your reader's attention, your reader's going to want to read it more. So how can you give an attention grabber that hooks your reader so that they want to keep reading? There are various ways to do this, but I'm going to talk about two ideas. First, you could surprise the reader. You could start with an unknown, interesting fact or statistic. Or you could start with something expected, but give it an unexpected twist. Or you could say something that seems to contradict what people already know, or use an engaging quote from the text. That's a handy one if the text is long enough to have various quotes, because you don't want to use a good quote that you may want to use later in your essay, but maybe it's something that would engage the reader. So for argumentative essays, like as in pro-con essays, a couple of different ways to do it. First of all, you could use a startling statistic about your topic. I'm going to use a gun control example and CGI through two different examples, gun control and CGI throughout this presentation. So for gun control, you could start off with an example of nearly 40,000 people died from guns last year in the United States. That's a fairly startling statistic and would instantly grab your reader's attention. If we were talking about CGI, which we wrote about in an earlier essay, you could say CGI-enhanced movies have made more money than any other movies in history. So a startling statistic is a good way to start an essay. But what if you don't know any startling statistics? Another quick and easy way to make a hook is an anecdote, which is like a very short story to get your reader engaged. It might be something about your own personal experience, or imagine that you are in a certain scenario, or whatever. But I've got a couple of examples for you. So for the gun control example, I would say, you are walking home at night and are confronted by a man with a gun, but you have no way to defend yourself because the government has made it almost impossible to get guns. Obviously, as you could guess, your essay would then be against more gun control laws, because your hook is really about how that does not help people. An example for CGI, computer-generated imagery, might be, as a Marvel fan, I can't wait to see my favorite superheroes brought to life. Imagine my disappointment when the latest Batman movie had so few thrills and special effects. They had decided not to use CGI. Again, you've put your personal spin on it, you put yourself into the narrative, and the reader starts to see, oh, there's a personal connection there. The next thing you're going to put in your essay after the hook is background information. I don't know why, but this seems to be a real struggle for students to figure out what to put in your background information. It's important that you don't give your opinion here, because you're going to give your opinion in the next sentence in the thesis statement. This is just the facts, Jack. Just the information your reader needs to know in order to understand the topic. So you want to stay away from opinion in this part. So it's information your reader needs to know about the debate. So you're assuming your reader knows nothing about CGI or gun control. What does he or she need to know to get started? That's background information. It can include definitions, the fact that people are debating the topic, etc. So background information answers these questions: who, what, when, where, and why about your topic. Then you're going to put the answers to these questions into a sentence or two. Don't worry, I'll show you what I mean. Here's how to do it using CGI as an example. The who is using CGI, would be movie makers. The what is computer-generated imagery. CGI is computer-generated imagery. You might want to define that for your reader. The when is currently. It's happening right now. It's not something that was done in the past. It's not 1965. It's what's happening right now in movies. The where in movies. And why it makes special effects more realistic. So if you take all of those ideas and try to craft them together into one sentence, and honestly, guys, it really helps until you get good at this to actually write out who, what, when, where, why, and then answer those questions and then use those words into a sentence. But if I just put the answers to my questions into a sentence, here is what I'm going to come up with. Drum roll, please. Currently, movie makers are using computer-generated imagery in movies to make special effects more realistic. That sentence alone would help your reader understand what you are talking about. If you went straight into your thesis statement, your reader's not going to understand what you're talking about, what the topic is, why we should care. It's really, really helpful to give some background information. Once you're finished, you put the three things together: the hook, the background information, and the thesis statement, which is, of course, the very first thing you created. And your introductory paragraph is done. So I'm going to show you how I can put all of those ideas into one great introductory paragraph about computer-generated imagery. Ta-da! Here's the completed introductory paragraph. I have color-coded the three sections. The hook is in blue, the background information is in green, and the thesis statement is in red. As a Marvel fan, I can't wait to see my favorite superheroes brought to life. Imagine my disappointment when the latest Batman movie had so few thrills and special effects. They had decided not to use CGI. Currently, movie makers are using computer-generated imagery in movies to make special effects more realistic. Although some argue that actors' performances suffer, movie makers should continue to use CGI because it can make fantastic worlds come alive, and movies with CGI often make more money. If you can learn to start your essays off with introductory paragraphs like this, the rest of the essay will flow much more smoothly, and it will be much easier for your reader to understand your position on a topic. Good luck, guys!